Madam President, our nation's middle class was built by the hard work of American workers. At a time when our country has become increasingly polarized, we should all be able to agree that everybody should have a fair chance to succeed if they're willing to work hard and to play by the rules. These truly American values have inspired generations of workers to stand together and collectively bargain for basic workplace protections like fair wages, safe workplaces, and reasonable hours. These protections allow American workers and their families to be productive members of the economy and to achieve their version of the American dream. But the American dream only exists if hard work is rewarded with the opportunity to earn a good living, to provide for your loved ones, and when it's all said and done, to be able to retire with dignity. This is deeply personal to me. My mother found opportunity as a nurse's aide and led the effort to organize her workplace. She went on to serve as an SIEU union steward. Unfortunately, in the years since I grew up in Rochester Hills, it feels like the American dream has moved out of the reach for too many American families. Joining or staying in the middle class can be a daily struggle. We must fight every day to support and to build the middle class, not chip away at fundamental worker rights. The laws, regulations, and administrative decisions that come out of Washington have a direct impact on American workers, unions, and the middle class. The National Labor Relations Board plays a central role in protecting the rights of American workers. The NLRB was created to safeguard their ability to unionize and to engage in collective bargaining for fair workplace conditions. To work as intended, the NLRB must be made up of members deeply committed to representing the interest of American workers. Unfortunately, the nominee that we will be considering shortly, Mr. John Ring, does not share this commitment. In fact, he is the third labor attorney President Trump has nominated to the committee with zero, let me say that again, zero track record of representing workers. He has only represented clients on the corporate and management side of labor issues. During Mr. Ring's tenure at one of the country's largest firms, he has advised corporations on how to undermine worker protections. He has also posted blogs opposing common sense reforms to modernize union election procedures, classifying the NLRB actions as, and I quote, some of the biggest assaults on employer rights in recent history. Mr. Ring would join recently confirmed board member William Emanuel, who quickly ran into ethics trouble based on his history of representing corporations. Just 5 months after Mr. Emanuel's appointment, the NLRB was forced to vacate a major decision related to employer liability due to his conflicts of interest. And yet the administration continues full steam ahead with new nominees with extensive corporate ties and conflicts of interest. This administration is also breaking precedent and all conception of fairness by refusing to nominate new NLRB members in a bipartisan pair. Despite a pending Democratic vacancy on the panel, the President and the Senate Majority Leader have instead chosen a partisan approach, doubling down on the one-sided nature of a supposedly independent federal agency. This is simply unacceptable development, and it is an ongoing effort to silence our nation's workers. Protecting American workers, the American middle class, and the American dream should not be a partisan issue. And I'm deeply concerned with Mr. Ring's appointment to the NLRB. If confirmed to the 5-member board, the voting majority of the agency charged with protecting workers' voices will be stacked with members who are focused on undermining fundamental worker rights. I think employers should be treated fairly, but not at the expense of our nation's workers and the American middle class. We need a balanced, fair NLRB, and we need an NLRB members who will stick up for American workers and the American class. Mr. Ring will not be that kind of NLRB member. and the administration and the majority are actively preventing seating someone who will stand up for workers. I will be voting against Mr. Ring's nomination, and I urge my colleagues to do the same. Thank you, Madam President. I yield the floor.